Okay, so let's unpack this. Have you ever felt caught between, two worlds, maybe even felt like you were fated to balance the whole thing out?
Uh-huh, like light and shadow, pulling you in different directions.
Exactly. Well, today our deep dive takes us into this really fascinating collection of sources. They detail these intertwining destinies of two powerful sisters.
Right, and the unique magic that shapes their world, and maybe most importantly, the choices they make. Choices that could, well, either save everything or completely shatter it.
Absolutely. Our sources, they don't just tell one story, do they? They lay out this incredibly complex, interconnected narrative.
Yeah, it's a whole universe where you've
Right.
got these ancient prophecies that seem to dictate every move, but then you see personal will and, honestly, this incredibly powerful love just completely twist those narratives into something unexpected.
So, our mission today is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from these accounts, give you a real shortcut to understanding this epic tale. It's packed with destiny, defiance, and definitely some surprising facts and turns.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so our story kicks off with two sisters in this land, Valeda. You have Neve, the first daughter, and Red, the second daughter.
And right away, the sources tell us Red was born into this awful bargain. She seems destined for a life tangled up with the Wilderwood, this mystical place, and the enigmatic wolf figure.
But Neve, her
Yeah.
twin, she absolutely rejects that fate, buries herself in library research, just determined, The sources say she wants to find a way to make the monster choke.
It's pretty remarkable how fast their paths just split into these opposing forces. Neve's immediate plunge into what the sources call the Shadowlands. It's quite striking.
Yeah, tell us about the Shadowlands. It's not just any underworld, is it?
No, not at all. It's described as this nightmarish half-world, a darkness literally anchored beneath the Wilderwood. The descriptions mention inverted trees. It's dark, grim, a prison of monsters, the prison of gods.
And Neve waking up there. In a glass coffin, with her veins suddenly inked black, that immediately signals something huge has changed, right? A terrifying transformation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she flees into this monochrome world, all shades of black and white and gray. Everything feels wrong, inverted.
So what does that tell us straight away, compared to Red?
Well, that sets up the core duality, doesn't it? Red's connection is all about the green and growing power of the Wilderwood. Life, vibrancy, Neve's new domain, its cold, sharp, thorned darkness. This contrast is, well, it's pivotal. It establishes their destiny as mirrors. That's a key theme the sources keep bringing up. One for light, one for dark, woven into the magic of their worlds.
So once she's in these chilling Shadowlands, Neve pretty quickly runs into Solmir.
Oh, Solmir, yeah.
A really compelling character, but definitely morally ambiguous, identified as one of the kings, these ancient, powerful beings imprisoned down there.
And he doesn't waste any time explaining their situation, that the kings are desperate to escape to the surface.
But his introduction,
Yeah.
it really throws you, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. He just openly admits it. I might be a liar and a murderer and a whole host of other unsavory things,
Yeah.
but I am also the only thing in this whole underworld that gives a fraction of care about you.
I mean, wow. Talk about setting the stage for a complicated, uneasy alliance. Can you even trust someone who says that?
Exactly. And then as Neve starts using this raw darkness magic,
Yeah.
it's described like winter, like biting wind, makes her veins black, palms, frost-covered Solmir does something shocking.
He takes the power from her.
Yeah.
That bruising tis.
Yeah, and he claims it's to stop her soul from rotting, from turning her into a monster. But initially it feels so violent. What's that revealing about the magic itself?
That's a fantastic point because it's key to understanding the mechanics here. The sources are really clear. Shadowlands magic, the kind Neve has, it literally rots your soul, consumes it.
Okay.
But Wilderwood magic, totally different. It harmonizes with the soul, amplifies it. So what Solmir does, yeah, it's brutal, shocking to witness, but it's actually framed as this desperate protective act.
The sources later reveal it comes from his own painful past, trying to hold both magic and a soul himself. It just shows how dangerous that Shadowlands power really is.
Right. So while Neve is dealing with all that in the underworld, what's happening back on the surface?
Well, Red, obviously, and her partner Aemon, who is the wolf, they're desperate to find Neve.
And they bring in help, right? Rafa.
Yeah, Rafi, the Queen's loyal aide. And the sources make it pretty clear his feelings for Neve are complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And their circle grows to include Caillou, a Neoni princess. She showed up in Valeda claiming she was there to study, but secretly she'd figured most of it out on her own.
Kaya's interesting, isn't she? Her journey.
Oh, definitely. It really speaks to that theme of choosing loyalty over what you're supposed to do. See, she started out as a spy
A spy? For who?
for the High Priestess Kiri, a figure who's deeply tangled up in the prophecies and is dead set on bringing the kings to the surface no matter the cost. But as Caillou actually works with Red and Iman and Raf, she starts to understand them, their cause. Her loyalties shift. It really shows how personal connection can just dismantle these big political agendas. She goes from adversary to, well, a crucial ally.
And Red's path to finding Neve, it becomes clearer because of an object.
Yes, this mysterious key made of white wood and threaded with veins of gold. It's even described as having a faint heartbeat.
A heartbeat. And it's linked to the heart tree. For an audience like ours familiar with magical artifacts, what's special about this key and the heart tree connection?
Yeah, the symbolism there is really powerful. The sources describe the heart tree not just as a place, but as the literal nexus.
The center point.
Exactly. Of both the Wilderwood and the Shadowlands. It's explicitly called two halves of a whole. And it's located inside an inverted castle that mirrors Neve's own home.
Whoa.
So it's not just a magical GPS. It's a living symbol of that deep intertwined connection between the sisters and their worlds. It echoes those prophecies, the Golden Vein and the Shadow Queen.
Okay, back to Neve and Solmir. Their journey gets even more intense. They encounter these ancient, dying gods in the Shadowlands.
The old ones.
Right. And Neve kills the serpent, Valkyr, who turns out is Solmir's father.
Yeah, using a god bone weapon. And she absorbs his power. Huge moment.
Then later she encounters the Oracle, another old one, a powerful seer. And the Oracle forces Neve to face some really difficult truths about her motivations, her self-perception, even suppressed anger and guilt.
This is such a pivotal and, frankly, uncomfortable moment for Neve. And for us watching her, the Oracle says goodness is more about trying to save those you love, regardless of the cost.
Regardless of the cost.
And that just completely challenges Neve's view of her own ruthlessness. It forces her to see these uncomfortable parallels between her drive to protect Red and Valkyr's own twisted attempts to save his daughter, Gaia.
So it muddies the water between good and evil intentions.
Exactly. It's a deep dive into just how complex motivation can be. Makes you wonder if a good intention can sometimes lead you down some very dark, maybe even monstrous paths.
And then there's another huge revelation from the Leviathan, another old one.
Right. This one concerns Solmir's original plan.
Which was pretty horrifying, wasn't it? To use Neve as a vessel.
Yes, but crucially, a vessel to bring the kings to the surface for their demise. Not to help them escape. It was a calculated, cold plan.
The narrative shows he's changed, that he cares for Neve.
It does. It goes to great lengths to show his growing care. He even confesses to her, I didn't do it, Neve. I couldn't. It shows this profound shift in him.
So the Leviathan reveals the awful initial plan. It makes you ask, did he genuinely change, or was it just another manipulation? How do the sources suggest it's real?
That's the core question the narrative forces on you, and it's one of the most compelling arcs. His initial plan was, a monster's design, cold, calculated. But the sources carefully show his change through specific actions, selfless ones like that confession. It's not just presented as a sudden flip. It's shown as being driven by seeing Neve's own fierce love and sacrifice.
So his actions demonstrate the change.
Yeah, the narrative really leans into the idea that even someone who is a monster can choose goodness. It explores whether that choice can actually redeem past actions, suggests identity, even for these ancient beings, comes down to choices. Not just where you came from.
Okay, so this all leads to the climax. The King's Sanctum, the heart tree, everything converges.
And Neve makes this absolutely momentous choice, almost unimaginable.
To become the vessel herself. To swallow the apocalypse by absorbing the souls of all the kings.
Right. She even creates a new godbone weapon. These artifacts let you absorb immense power, often from powerful beings. She makes one from her own finger to do it.
Wow. Wow.
And this is where prophecy and personal will just spectacularly collide. The old verses, they talked about 1 to be the vessel, the Shadow Queen, the Dark Holder, and 2 to make the doorway, the Shadow Queen and the Golden Veined.
Neve and Red.
Exactly. Neve fully becomes the vessel for the Shadowlands magic. Red, the Golden Veined, arrives as her necessary mirror, destined to balance her out. Their love, their fierce connection, it actually creates the conditions for the prophecy to be fulfilled.
But maybe not in the destructive way it originally sounded?
Precisely. They subvert the expected outcome.
And Red gets there, using her key, just as the heart tree breaks completely apart.
Yeah, it's chaos. But in that chaos, there's this ultimate balancing act. Neve's magic, Red's magic. They just cancel each other out.
Leaving them chained.
Profoundly. Both human, bereft of magic, and incredibly soulless, yet still themselves. It's dramatic, but weirdly peaceful.
Soulless yet still themselves. What does that even mean?
Well, the resolution is really profound and honestly pretty unexpected. It's not a win for one side, it's a cosmic rebalancing. Their love, that fierce bond, it becomes the equilibrium.
Like the universe had to recalibrate around them.
Kinda, yeah. Ending the Wilderwood and Shadowlands as they were known. Not through destruction, but through this mutual cancellation, a new kind of peace. And what's even wilder, Eric.
Solmir's shadow, who is just gone.
Yeah. He returns to life. No memories, but alive. It really highlights the unique, almost restorative power of this specific magical event. A healing that goes beyond just the sisters.
So the aftermath. King's gone, Shadowland's gone, Wilderwood drained of its old power. The world starts anew.
Right. And Neve, she's not a queen anymore. She abdicates the throne. Eventually Caillou takes it.
Caillou, the former spy. Interesting.
Very. And we see Solmir, now truly human, rekindling that complicated relationship with Neve.
But Neve struggles with being soulless, right? Thinks she might be a monster now.
She does, yeah. The sources really dig into what losing your soul means in this world. She worries it was her soul that made her moral.
But Solmir reassures her.
He does. And maybe drawing from his own difficult journey, his own transformation, he tells her something profound. You won't be a monster because you aren't a monster. You are good, Neve. It really emphasizes that your true essence isn't just about magic or titles or even having a soul in the way they understood it. It's about your choices, your inherent character.
And there's that final detail, right, about magic returning.
Yes, subtle but powerful. A child is seen healing someone with gold around her fingers. It signals a new kind of magic, a natural balance emerging in the world.
So the world has changed, but maybe healed, with new potential.
Exactly. It suggests the balance they achieved brought forth something new, maybe gentler.
This whole deep dive, it really shows how destiny can be, well, both embraced and totally reshaped by choice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a powerful reminder. Even in this world with epic battles, cosmic magic, the core stuff, identity, love, sacrifice, that seems profoundly human.
Makes you think about our own choices, even small ones, and the ripple effects they can have.
Especially when driven by something as fundamental as love.
What an incredible journey through this world. Ancient prophecies clashing with personal choices, family ties, literally reshaping reality. It's just a huge testament to human connection, even in these fantastical settings.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights how looking at the connections, fate, power, personal will can lead to such unexpected places.
Yeah.
And that idea, goodness is more about trying to save those you love regardless of the cost. It really sticks with you.
Even though it leads to painful places, like we saw with Neve and Solmir.
Right. Sacrifice and revelation often go hand in hand.
So for you listening, what does this all mean? Maybe think about how these characters grapple with control, with their destiny, and how love ultimately guides their toughest decisions. Where in your own life do you wrestle with what you feel you're meant to be versus what you choose to become?
And maybe a final thought to chew on. This deep dive makes us wonder, if love is powerful enough to balance entire magical worlds, literally end old prophecies, usher in new ways of being, what other seemingly impossible things might it actually be capable of?